Hope you brought your gardening gear, because today things are gonna get botanical.
I got my shovel.
Yeah, I noticed. Little overkill, no?
I'm from space. What do you expect me to know about flowers?
Fair point. Let's go gardening. Hello all, I'm Josh, this is Josh Build Stuff, and today we're talking about an all-new set from the new LEGO Botanical Collection. This is the Flower Bouquet. This set was just released in January 2021, contains 756 pieces, and costs $50 here in the US. And before you hit me with an actually, I know it's pronounced bouquet, I was making a joke. Hey, if the NFL can pump in crowd noise, I can pump in a laugh track. My initial impressions on this set: I think it's beautiful. I don't think that should be much of a surprise to anyone who watches this channel. Basically, if LEGO releases something at this point that looks more like a sculpture than a toy, I'm probably going to get it, and I'm probably going to give it a pretty high review. But I am always a fan of LEGO trying new and different things than they've done before, and I think this Botanical Collection showcases just that. This Flower Bouquet is one of two new sets in this line. The other is a Bonsai Tree, which I also think looks excellent, but I have not picked that up yet. But I'm seeing a ton online about that Bonsai Tree, so I think it is getting a pretty great reception. I've said it before, this is a set that I had showed my wife before buying it. She gave me the go-ahead to buy it and said that might actually look good in our living room. Can you imagine LEGO existing outside of these doors? But I think this set would make a great gift for that special botanist in your life. But if you don't have one of those, like me, you can always give it to your wife. Quick word of marriage advice to you out there. Don't phrase something in such a way that makes your wife sound like your second choice, especially if your first choice was a botanist. Not that there's anything wrong with botanists, we need more men and women in the STEM field. In this case, literally, because this set comes with 14 stems. Of flowers, that is. Among the flowers constructed here, that's a sentence you don't hear often, are roses, snapdragons, daisies, poppies, lavender, and aster. I think those are also names of characters on the Golden Girls, but I've never actually seen it. I do know that Betty White is a saint and needs to be protected at all costs. When it came to the build of this set, as you might expect, it was tedious and repetitive, and yet super enjoyable. This set was 750 pieces, and yet it seems like this may be a set with the fewest variety of pieces among such a large number. What I mean is there were plenty of steps where it was like, do this thing times 54. But obviously things are going to get repetitive when you have to build the same kind of flower 2 or 3 times. And yet somehow in the end the finished product is so beautiful that any of the tedium or repetition is just kind of washed away and forgotten, and what you're left with is a really beautiful art piece. And in addition to the fact that this set looks really cool and obviously uses a bunch of really cool build techniques to achieve these very unique, very nice looking flowers, there were some really innovative uses of some existing LEGO pieces. Most notable are the pterodactyl wings being used as leaves on the roses. There are little surfboard pieces at the tips of these long leaves, and there are even little crown pieces being used on the lavender stems. From the perspective of a casual observer, I think this set would definitely look cool to them, but to someone who builds a lot of LEGO, this build process was super interesting. And that's because obviously you're following instructions, right? And if you're like me when you're following LEGO instructions, you try to line up your angles just right, and you try to follow every little instruction and every little detail to the very last detail. But in this case, we're building flowers, which are by nature, pun intended, very organic looking, and not always perfectly symmetrical. And so you try to line up every little piece exactly as the instructions intend, but in the end you're still not going to line things up perfectly. And then when you stick everything in a vase like I have here, things are going to get knocked about a little bit, and some of the little buds of the individual flowers might get skewed or distorted at a certain angle, and I think that actually adds a lot to the set, because if you were sticking a bunch of actual flowers into a vase, that exact same thing would happen, and obviously flowers aren't perfectly symmetrical or exactly the same looking, and so I think this set somehow captures all of those tiny details really well. And speaking of the vase, this is not included with this set. This is just like a cheap plastic vase that my wife bought off of Amazon with the express purpose of displaying these flowers. But I think there's some built-in irony to this set now being displayed, because if this were to fall off a shelf for the first time in history, it would be the flowers that broke instead of the vase. One of the final fantastic features about this set is that a lot of the green plant pieces in this set are actually made from plants and sustainable materials. That is a part of a larger LEGO initiative where they are looking to make all of their bricks from sustainable sources by 2030. I think right now it's like the little bush pieces, some of the leaf pieces, and even the pterodactyl wings that are made from sustainable sources. And I think those sustainable sources are sugarcane right now, but don't bother tasting those particular Lego bricks. They don't taste sweet or like sugar. I'm assuming, not that I've been licking Legos. So my final thoughts on this set, I think it's beautiful, as I've said before. And if you're like me and you're looking for ways to get more Lego into your living room, this may be a good stepping stone forward, especially when it comes to convincing your loved ones who are in charge of designing your house. And speaking of design, did I mention that my wife is an incredible designer? Well, she's incredible at anything, and in just about every way you can imagine, and you'd be lucky just to know her. But in this case, I'm specifically talking about her ability to design. And when she knew this Lego set was on its way, she found a piece of art that just so happens to perfectly match the colors in this set and in our house in general. And now we can proudly display this beautiful bouquet of flowers alongside that new art piece on the mantle of our fireplace in our living room, which she also designed and I also built. So there are several things on that fireplace that I have built, including the fireplace itself, and it was all designed by my beautiful and wonderful wife. That's right, my wife is beautiful, almost as beautiful as these flowers. Nope, other way around. This set is beautiful, but not as beautiful as my wife. So let me know what you think about this new flower bouquet set in the comments down below. Again, I know it's bouquet, but bouquet set is just more fun to say. As always, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Again, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.